Hello. Hi. Okay, we're going to get started a little bit early with our program to give our speaker the most amount of time possible to speak to all of you. So if you are not from the university, welcome to Cumberland. We're so thankful that you're here. Thank you so much for joining us for our AI Symposium today. My name is Alyssa Burlingame, and I'm an adjunct instructor of business communications and principles of social media. This event was born out of a desire to know more about AI and how to use it well. As a university, leadership has been in the process of developing a universal AI policy for the school, and in doing so realized, we don't know a lot about this, so how can we fix that? And thus, this AI Symposium was born. Before I introduce our speaker, I need to shout out a few specific people who made this event possible. First, Sam Hatcher, our chairman of the board. Please stand. Thank you so much for being here. Second, Matt Ashwood and our business council for bringing this idea to us and allowing me to run with it. I got the opportunity to choose the speaker and really work with Caleb and Jim in the business department to make this possible. Third, I do need to thank Jim Schulman, our dean of the Labrie School, who has, Jim has really guided our conversations, especially bridging a gap between me and the business council. He worked with the business council to fine-tune this event and has given me so much support throughout the whole process. And lastly, we need to thank Caleb Conley, who, if you don't know Caleb, he is the admin assistant in the business department, and he is 10 out of 10. He has taken on easily 50% of this event, so I get to stand up here and do all the talking and be all, welcome you, but he really has been working behind the scenes tirelessly to make this possible, and I could not have curated this event or chosen our speaker without their help. Okay, so now on to our speaker. I'm honored to welcome Gabrielle Goud, founder and CEO of the Goud Group. Before launching her own company, Gabrielle spent years consulting with 200 plus businesses across industries. She has seen firsthand what separates companies that thrive with AI from those that fall behind. So she's not here to talk about the future in the abstract, but she is here to teach us more about AI and how to use it now in the work you're already doing and the work you'll do in the future. So please join me in welcoming Gabrielle.
Super hot mic, she says. Let me get connected. Guys, thank you so much for having me, Cumberland. I am so excited to be here. One second. Where is that plug? I've been thinking about this ever since Alyssa and I spoke, and nothing makes me more excited than, let's see, start mirror. Yes. How do I make that go full screen? I hate it when we have a little bit of technical difficulties. Do you know how to make that full screen?
Potentially by doing...
Oh, just that, yeah.
Did that work for you? Is that good?
Yeah, I'm getting a weird green box though, but.
Me too, but I think...
Okay. All right, guys, we'll just kick it off. So again, thank you so much for having me. To get a lay of the land, I would love to get a show of hands and understand who I'm speaking to exactly. If you are currently a student, would you raise your hand for me? Okay, so probably 80%, amazing. If you are faculty for Cumberland, would you raise your hand for me? Awesome, thank you for taking time out of your busy day, appreciate you. And then lastly, I heard we might have some business owners here. So if you are with chamber or business owner, can you raise your hand? Awesome, so nice to meet you guys, thank you so much. So one thing about me, I love interaction. I love it when you talk to me. If you have questions, please feel free to pause, shout out a question, raise your hand, work with me. I feed off of that energy. Secondly, I designed this to be a demo, not necessarily a PowerPoint presentation. By the end of this session, I'm going to have taught you how to build your own AI employee. So this is going to be notes, and also, so you know, I wish I could get rid of this green screen here. At the end, I'm going to pop up a QR code that you can put your email in, and because I'm recording my screen right now, I will email this to you. So if you feel overwhelmed, or if you're like, what was that prompt? What was that thing that she said? I'll send this to you, and you can work back through it and begin building your own AI employees today, tonight. So in order to prepare for this speech, I'm just gonna dive right into a demo. Does that work for you guys? Good with that? Okay. In order to prepare, I love research. So I did a deep research prompt to understand what are the things that faculty, students, and business owners collectively, what are the things that you guys are, what are the questions you're asking? What are the things that you fear? I know there's been a lot of news about AI is going to take over jobs. Like it's a pretty bleak future when you start looking at this news of like, it's taking over jobs. What's my future in a world that is run by robots, right? So what I did, I knew some of you guys were gonna be skeptical. Some of you are using it already, but some of you are also a little bit overwhelmed by all the new softwares and all the new LLMs. So I analyzed thousands of posts online. I reviewed Reddit, I reviewed LinkedIn, real conversations that thousands of people are having online right now to identify the 5 core barriers stopping people from investing in AI skills. This kind of research, and I love research, I love data. This would normally take me days, if not weeks. When you think about the traditional way of going through and reading all these comments, compiling all this data, consolidating it so it makes sense. By a show of hands, how many of you would have guessed that research, comprehensive, thousands of conversations could have taken 10 minutes? Yes, okay, front row, thank you for working with me. Some of you say yes, some of you are like, well, how did you do that? Because right now, most people are using ChatGPT like Google. So you go in there and you ask a little prompt, but you're not getting really good data. So I'm gonna show you how I did this. One of my favorite tools for research is Perplexity. I wrote one prompt, you can see here, you are Seth Godin, author of This is Marketing in Purple Cow. You analyze belief systems, identity, cultural resistance, not tactics. I wanted it to look at college students. You can see group 1. I wanted it to look at group educators and local businesses. So what I did, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Perplexity. It is my favorite for research. If you come in here and you drop your prompt, which I'll share with you, you can hit this button and click Deep Research. Have you guys ever done this before? Have you seen this button? Yes, yes, awesome. Why I like Perplexity specifically for this question when we're talking about what are people saying online, what's the chatter, is because you can also come in here and go under connectors and hit social. Did you guys know that you could do this? Yes? No? So this is fantastic when you're wanting to hear what people are talking about online. So I'm gonna jump to the actual, I loaded the prompt, we're gonna jump into, this is 10 minutes, I didn't want you guys to have to sit and wait for it, but here's the prompt. So again, I asked it LinkedIn, X, Instagram, Facebook, check all the Reddit threads, and look what it does. All of these Reddit blogs and posts, and it's just working in the background. I went off and I did something else while this ran, this deep research. It checked out blog posts, it's looking at LinkedIn, it's looking at Facebook, Instagram. It's consolidating all of its insight and data for me. And now, Instagram. And so now, as you can see, again, I don't know how many of you have used this before, but look at this output. Look how incredible this is. And when you're thinking about all the ways that you want real data and research, market research, SWOT analysis, competitive markets, this is pages and pages of data. You think this is what? Okay, zoom in. There, thank you. So this is all that data and research, which is too much to read right now. But I just wanted to show you a simple prompt with Perplexity. And you can use this in Claude, you can use this in Gemini, you can use this in chat. One thing you'll see as you're starting to go deeper on certain LLMs, a lot of them work the same across the board. So when you see that plus mark at the bottom in any chat, click on that. and you can do the deep research. Okay, let's keep moving. The other thing that I did with this, and we looked at what they're saying. So students were saying, I'm so scared of wasting money on a degree and a job that could possibly be replaced by AI. 62% of 2025 graduates are specifically worried about AI's impact on their field. I'm in AI, guys, and I still have question marks. Like, this is very normal. Faculty describes a feeling of being on an island, no training, no clear policy, pressure from both students and administrations to figure it out. We're in the wild, wild west right now. Business owners, 38% of small business owners cite lack of AI knowledge as their main barrier, even though they report that it increases their productivity. So I wanted to take all of this data and, as an example, show you what you can do when you're using your research tool. I took a prompt and loaded it here. Again, not sure why it's doing that. And I asked Claude is my favorite, I want you to build me a beautiful dashboard. I want something that's interactive that I can show in a leadership meeting. So again, 10 minutes to get this research, copy and paste all this research back into Claude, and look at this dashboard. Like this, I didn't ask it to do anything else. I didn't re-prompt it. It even knew from memory some of our branding colors, and it picked our branding colors and created this interactive dashboard that goes over the different mindsets for students and faculty and business owners. How many of you guys, have you used Claude before, or have you built artifacts? Yes, in the front? Yes. What's really cool about this is you can build out full, beautiful custom presentations now using Claude, just like this. There's also another software called Gamma that's really great too, if you guys just mental note for that. So the universal fear under all of this is, who will I be in a world where machines can do what I thought made me valuable? And what I want to share with you guys, this will be woven throughout everything I do and say today, is that if you learn these skills, you become the most valuable person in the room and in any business. So it's not something to fear. It really opens up what's possible. So for some of you, your brain might be exploding just with that, just with the deep research prompt. Again, with students, you're probably researching and reading a lot. I don't think you need to replace your writing with it, but on the research, on the studying, on the pulling sources, like just being able to do that and put it in a quick presentation, that took me 15 minutes. So some of you might be going, oh my gosh, that was so fast and that was so easy, and your brain's spinning about all the other ways you can use it. And some of you are saying, I'm still a little skeptical. I don't know if I can really learn this. Two things that tell me if you're going to be great at AI, and that is, do you know how to communicate? Can you express yourself? Can you talk through what you want the outcome to be? And also, do you feel like you're resourceful? Are you willing to try and figure it out? And notice, this is really important because I am not a technical person. I did not say anything about having technical skills to use AI in your work or in your business. I'm actually I've got coders on my team, and they talk and I kind of understand it, right? But I'm using AI all day, every day, in everything that I do. So I think one thing we want to hammer home is you will be overwhelmed today, and you will be overwhelmed tomorrow and moving forward. This is the new norm, is overwhelm. Excuse me, I gotta take a breath. Overwhelm is not a bad thing. I think when we feel this, it's like it can keep us frozen instead of moving forward. But when you think about overwhelm, you experience it every time you learn something new. So when you were first driving a car, your nervous system was on go, you were paying attention to all the signs. And now, most of us just drive on autopilot and we don't even know how we got from point A to point B. This is like learning any new job. This is a new skill set. We have never before in history had something like this. So I want to encourage you all to embrace that feeling. When you come across a new software, you're not really sure how to use it, or your brain wants to just shut down on you, that is normal. And if you can rehearse that to yourself, that you need to lean into that feeling and keep learning, you're going to do just fine. So why this matters. If If that is, the research piece is possible, what else is possible? Like when you start getting into this, your mind starts turning and you cannot turn it off. So for students, with that example I just showed you, what if you could reverse engineer any job posting, build a custom resume, write a tailored cover letter, and prep for the interview? Is this as an all-in-one afternoon? You could do this in probably an hour now. What if you had a study partner that never got tired, knew every textbook you've ever been assigned, and could quiz you at 2 a.m. before your final? This is not to replace your thinking. This is to support and enhance your thinking and your creativity. For faculty, what if AI helped you redesign your curriculum to be more rigorous and teach students AI skills that employees actually want? What if you could take a 90-minute faculty meeting recording and have a structured summary with action items on your desk in 60 seconds? I used to be an executive assistant, and I can't tell you how much time I spent just on meeting notes and follow-ups and trying to keep track of what everybody was supposed to be doing. Crazy. Business owners, what if you could walk into every negotiation already knowing the other side's position, their public reviews, their pricing, and their weaknesses? You could know more about your competitors than they know about themselves, just from the prompt, just from that one deep research prompt that we did in Perplexity. That's crazy. And I'm gonna show you guys how to do an AI employee. We're just talking about prompting right now. So what I want to, again, encourage you, the things you've been telling yourself are impossible, they aren't impossible anymore. Okay, so quick introduction. I know Alyssa introduced me. My name's Gabrielle Gowd. I spent the last 4 years consulting, building a consulting business with 200, 6, 7, and 8-figure businesses. It was a fantastic experience for me because I got to see all the problems and all the bottlenecks that these businesses, industry agnostic, across the board, what they faced. One of the main things that we experienced as a business and that they experienced was that we're always trying to scale revenue, right? We want more clients, we want to serve more people. So as we're scaling this revenue, our fulfillment costs climb. The average business in the US has a 10% profit margin. So my aha moment was when I realized instead of just chasing this profit margin, we've got, $100,000 months, $500,000 months, $1 million months, but then that burn, that monthly burn that you wake up and this month I've got $90K in expenses or whatever that is at $1 million a month, $900K in fulfillment costs and softwares, in hiring new employees. What if instead of chasing that AI, you keep your dream team, your AI employees? I am not about this is gonna lay off employees. This now, your AI, your team can actually do more creative work, and you can plug AI systems in that help you increase that profitability. So for businesses, you're serving the same people, you're increasing sales, but your marketing is better, your fulfillment is better. You've got automated systems that can now send out a contract, and if it doesn't get signed, there's an automated reminder. Like, there's so many possibilities now. And so for businesses, this is so exciting because we can help more people and make more money with the same team and fewer fulfillment costs. So today, my company is one of the few AI consultancies that we don't just consult, we actually build. We do a lot of those systems. And guys, I launched this, I exited my last business in July. I launched my company in August. Since then, we're a super small team, but we've built 120 automations and AI products for businesses across industries. We've built employees that write sales pages, email copy, Facebook ads. We've built leadership coaching, AI employees that coach leaders through real scenarios. I'll talk about that later. And here's the thing, because every person on our team is AI trained, we're all operating at 3 to 5x productivity of a traditional team our size. This is what's really exciting, that if you learn these skills, you can be that person that's 3 to 5x productivity. And you're getting to do the creative thinking, but you just have the support of AI behind you. And I'm not showing this, got the note, I'm not showing it to brag about what we've built in 9 months. I'm doing it to show you what's possible. And I've only started really getting into AI probably 1.5 years ago deeply. So it is an investment of time, totally worth it. Best time to start is now or yesterday. Okay, I've shared a little bit about my background with being an executive assistant. It has not always been this way, where my life was seamless and easy, and we're able to create all this output. I'm sure many of you, if you're a founder of a business or a student, how many of you feel like you're doing so much work and every day you've got more tasks and it's just compounding and you're overworked and you're drowning essentially in your to-do lists? Yes, yes, yes. I see fingers going up. Like, nobody really wants to admit it, but that's normal. Like, we are a very busy society. And I was like this not too long ago. You heard about my consulting business, trying to keep up. Again, I love data, doing all this research, trying to build strategy, doing pro formas and financial analysis, and doing all of this manually. And I just felt like I added more things to my to-do list every single day. Until one day I realized I can do a research prompt. I can consolidate all of that. I can throw it in Claude, and Claude can build me the most insane, beautiful pro forma financial document. I met a guy in the back who is an accountant professor, and it's crazy what Claude can do now with just finances in Excel. So my life's never been the same since I really dived into this and gave myself permission. Did anyone this morning have something that took like an hour or two that maybe you thought, I wonder how AI could help me, but you didn't know how? Any big projects, studying, work, emails? So again, some examples of what you might have done just today, just this morning, that you could have used AI. Students, you spent an hour writing a cover letter and you're not even sure if it's that good. Is it gonna have the good hooks and attention grab? You're studying for a test, you don't really know where to start. You got all the notes, but where do you start? You can load that into AI and have it strategically based on your learning style teach you and quiz you. Faculty, I need to create differentiated lesson materials for 3 different skill levels. I don't have time. I'm trying to redesign my curriculum to include AI literacy, but I don't know where to start. I sat through a 2-hour department meeting and now I have to write up minutes and action items. I'm sure most of you have used meeting transcription notes at this point. There's Otter and all those, but, and then business owners, my business owners, again, spent 2 hours writing that follow-up email. I was writing social media captions for the week, and I gave up after 2 posts. I hate writing social media captions, which is why I never did it before. I was putting together a PowerPoint presentation for Monday's meeting. All of these things are tasks that take hours to do, and they're eating up your time. And they're not always the most creative use of your time. So every single one of these things AI can do. Everything you just thought, AI can do it, and I'm going to show you how. So a few things. This is priming the pump, right? This is the transformation I went through that I'm sharing with you guys. I started to think differently. Once the light bulb went off and I actually had some tools at my fingertips, I started to think differently. And this is called, when you start thinking about your thinking, this is called metacognition. This is really important because a lot of us just make assumptions and we live out of that. So for those of you in therapy, this is one of the most important skills. I realized that I was mentally exhausted. I wasn't just busy, I was mentally exhausted. I was drained. I always had something on my plate. I was carrying tasks in my head. I had open loops all the time that I was trying to close. Planning my week, cognitive overload, follow-up emails after every call, oh my gosh, cognitive overload. And then meal planning for the week, just surviving, just making sure my daily life got handled. Forget meal planning. My husband in the back, he cooks because it was too much. I want you to mentally, if you've got notes or your phone, you don't have to answer these right now, but I want you to write these 2 things down to change your thinking about AI. What is draining my mental bandwidth? Like, start thinking about your thinking. What are the open loops? What are the things that are just running in the background of my mind that's draining me? And then number 2, look at that to-do list and write down where AI could help you. And maybe you don't know, but maybe that list you feed into AI and you ask it. Those 2 things, you start doing that about everything that you're working on, and it becomes innate and second nature. The second thing that happened to me is I started to see differently. I started to look at my to-do list, and now, because I was using AI on a regular basis, I knew what tools could help me, like Perplexity specifically for research, Claude for writing, for financial documents, et cetera, et cetera. And then now I'm in this place where I operate completely differently. So once you start crushing your to-do list and you are getting in the habit of using AI regularly, I want you to think about operations and systems. What are some recurring tasks that you do every single week, every month, every day? That is where I'm going to help you start outsourcing that work to your AI employees. So again, this entire skill set gave me 3 things. I finally felt done. At the end of the day, I'm not carrying a mental to-do list. I have downloaded it in my Claude. I don't have to think about closed loop, done. I became the most dangerous person in the room. You could take everything away from me right now, my company, my finances, and with the skills I have, and this is important for students, the skills I have, I can go get hired. I'm the cream of the crop right now. Not because I'm necessarily the smartest person, but because I know how to deploy these tools. I have the skill sets now. So that's what I want for you guys. I want you to be the most dangerous person in the room or the most dangerous person in your business. And then the last thing that happened, I was able to dream again. There were so many things in our past consulting business that I was like just backlog of work and team meetings, and I couldn't really dream. I couldn't get out of the weeds and get above it because my time was just being absorbed by all this work and the tasks. So here's something that's really important I want to drive in. Having a login to ChatGPT is not enough. Using ChatGPT like Google is not going to get you there. And that's the real talk. Well, we're going to change that today. So quickly, there are 2 versions of the same person. And I want you to look at these so you can recognize where you are right now and where you can be. Classic worker right now, a student. You wake up 7 a.m., anxious about the assignments. 9 a.m., you spent 2 hours on one cover letter for the job. One job. 3 p.m., you have 30 tabs open. Lots of tabs, guys, I get it. Still no outline of the paper. 6 p.m., you skip the gym, you're hungry, you're ordering takeout, and the weekend you're catching up. We got the same thing for faculty. You wake up, you're dreading the work for the day. Business owners are mentally exhausted, thinking about what you've got to do. Spent 90 minutes on one proposal for one client. This is classic work structure. This is where 95% of the population is living right now. But here's what you can become in not too much time, an AI architect. So this is someone with that 3 to 5x output. A student, 7 a.m., faculty, business owner, I do this all the time, brain dump to your AI employee or to Claude. Everything that you need to get done, just get it all out of your system, all out of your head. 9 a.m., student, you've applied to 5 jobs with tailored resumes and cover letters. 12 p.m., you have your paper outlined, sources organized, first draft started. Again, I am not advocating ever that you have AI replace your thinking. You should not use it to not write. That is the one danger with AI for business owners, for everybody, is we lose our sharpness and our thinking. Use AI for the research. Use it to help you format. Use it to help you, to coach you, to train you, to teach you. You can have it teach you entirely new skill sets so you're actually getting smarter. That's a little side note. Business owner, you brain dump everything into AI. You get your daily outline. I do this morning and evening. What did I accomplish for the day? What do I need to think about when I wake up in the morning? You sent 10 proposals, built a deck, and you ran financials by 9 a.m. 12 p.m., to-do list is done. You're starting your creative projects. And by 5 p.m., your laptop is closed, and you're hanging out with your family. So this is the future. This is the exciting thing about AI, is this is actually possible. So if you're honest, which one feels more like you? Standard worker, standard student, yes. Okay, everybody's a little shy, that's okay. Honestly, we're all probably somewhere in the middle between the standard worker and the AI optimized, and that's okay. You're not behind. I am in a mastermind with hundreds of other business owners. Everybody feels behind because everything's happening so rapidly. But on the scale of the population, the fact that you're here today, that you're learning about this, means that you're ahead of the curve, that you're curious, that you're interested. So I'm gonna ask you one thing. If the smartest intern in the world sat down right next to you and said, what would you like me to do today? What are some of the things that you would give it? This intern has worked at Meta, it's worked at Nike, Google, all the skill sets that you could imagine. What would you like me to work on? Again, ideas for students. Research every company I'm interviewing with and tell me what questions to ask. Turn my class notes from last month into a study guide. Faculty, build me a curriculum map for next semester that weaves in AI tools. Business owners, research my competitors and tell me what they're doing better than me. Go through all my Google reviews and give me customer sentiment. Okay? This is what's possible. So now we're gonna dive into a little bit more of the tools and the roadmap for this employee. You guys may be familiar, I've mentioned these before. ChatGPT is a generalist. I honestly don't even use it that much anymore. They're less focused on business the way Claude is. Claude is focused on business and enterprise. Claude, my favorite. Again, in these tools, it's all worth paying the $20 a month if you can to use these tools. Claude is fantastic for writing. So many people are talking about AI slop, and I've seen it. Have you guys read AI that you're like, or content that you're like, AI wrote this and this sucks? This is actually really bad. M-dashes everywhere. Like, there are tells. Claude is the best when you teach it. It can completely match your tone of voice, your personality, your isms. Gemini, because it's a Google product, is fantastic because it connects to your Google Drive, your Gmail, and your Google Calendar. And then Perplexity, I showed you guys, all of them can do deep research, but Perplexity has the ability when you toggle that social to go scan socials. Also worth noting, Notebook LM, I'm not going to demo it, but this is Notebook LM. This is a Google product. It's free with Google, and this is private. So any files that you load in this, conversations, they're not shared, and that's what I love about this. So for faculty or for students, if you want to load all your class notes into here, let me expand this document so you can see. Can you, hold on, this guy. Let me show you this. Okay, so if you can see over here, it can build slide decks, it can do a mind map, it can create a quiz. So Notebook LM is fantastic for everybody in this room because it keeps that information It's small again? Okay. This is just the interface. So again, on this side, you load your... I am so sorry, guys. That is frustrating. And again, I don't know what this green bar is too. But again, this is pretty easy to jump in and start using. I'm not going to show you how to do it. I just want you to be aware of it and what is possible. So we've got Notebook LM. Those are the tools. The other thing that's super important is how do you talk to AI? So many people skip over this. I don't know if you guys have ever studied prompting or seen any posts about how to prompt correctly, but if you're getting bad output, if you're not getting the results you want, it's because your input is probably lazy. It's probably not very good. So talking to AI, this is a foundational component that's gonna help you. It's kind of a boring foundational topic, but it's gonna help you tremendously. So there are 4 steps, and I'm gonna show you this later too in action. 4 steps for a prompt. Give it an expertise. What is its identity for the task you're about to give it? This sounds like you're a world-class financial analyst. You're a senior marketing strategist. This could also sound like a specific person, like you're Mel Robbins of, the book. You can give it whatever expertise you want, especially if there's an expert that you really admire and you like how they think. Tell your AI, you are this expert. Then you need to give it as much context as you can give it, because right now it knows nothing about you. It might have some history in your threads, but for what you're asking, it doesn't know what you want. So the more specific, the better. Instead of saying, or here's an example, I am a professor at a small university. My students are mostly first-generation college students who are bright but underprepared. I need to redesign my intro course to teach critical thinking alongside AI literacy. How different is that context from help me redesign my course? Which one do you think is going to give you better output? So as much context as you can give it is good. And I'm going to show you this other feature, Whisper Flow. It's the talk version. Now I talk so much better, faster than I type. So I will just brain dump into AI, and I'll just start talking through what I think I want it to do and all the context and get it out of my head. Third, tell it what you want the outcome to be. So be specific about the format. Don't say, help me with marketing. You want to say, write me 5 email subject lines that would get a 40% open rate for small business owners. Completely different. Now you're going to actually get what you're wanting it to do. Lastly, this is the power move, guys. Tell it to ask you questions, because then it's going to dial in and be even more specific. Sometimes I'm in a rush. I'm like, don't ask me questions, and it will, and I'll say, just make decisions for me. But for the most part, ask me questions. So those are the 4 things: expertise, content, context, outcome, and ask me questions. So a sample prompt. Real estate. You're a top producing real estate agent specializing in first-time home buyers. Expertise. I'm a senior at a small university majoring in business. All the context. And then the output. Rewrite my, write me 3 different email campaigns to re-engage my buyer list. I've got these sample prompts for you guys for the recording, so it can help you think through different things that you might want to use AI for. Prompting has gotten better. These AI LLMs have gotten so much smarter. Even 6 months ago, you had to be really good at prompting to get really good output. It's getting so much better. But this is still going to help you. Every time I open my app, I'm always thinking, what is his expertise? You are a gourmet chef. I want to create the best Thanksgiving dinner I've ever had for a family of 10, et cetera, et cetera. You get the idea. So even if you're not building a project that I'm going to show you, you're just prompting, follow this. The Whisper Flow, I think I mentioned this. This is a fantastic app that you can download on your phone or your computer, and you can talk to it, and it saves the speech memory. So there is a button on most LLMs to do audio, but I don't like it because sometimes it disappears, you lose it. So this is something, if you invest, I think it's like $7 a month, and I almost never type anything in Claude anymore. I'm just talking to it constantly. So I'm going to show you an example. So here we are in Claude. Let me zoom in. I've got a command on my computer, and this is what it sounds like. Sometimes it helps just to hear how not perfect this is. This is what my prompting sounds like. Okay, so I'm doing an audio right now to Claude. Let's hope it can do it over the recording. You are an expert at resume writing. I haven't written a resume in years. I have no idea what companies are looking for, but you're the expert. You know what businesses are looking for on resumes in 2026. I'm looking for jobs in operations. And then I would share more about my different background and experience. The output, I want you to draft a perfectly formatted 1-page resume that is in a doc file that I can edit. Ask me any questions. And then I'm going to pause that recording, and it should pop up. Did you see how that popped up, all that text? And then I'm going to hit enter. So this is, again, you're going to get so much better output using the voice note and following those instructions. We don't have to go through all of this, but again, fantastic for better output. Okay, are we ready to build our first AI employee? How many of you have actually built a custom GPT or a Claude project before? Awesome, we got 2 people. So that means the rest of you in this room are about to build your first AI employees. So what this is gonna look like, I asked Claude, I was like, what would be a great employee that would work for most people? And it suggested an executive assistant, which I love because I need assistance in everything in my life right now, right? So for a student, when we're done with this, this could do post-interview follow-up emails, meeting recaps, and group project summaries for you over and over and over. Faculty, post-advising session notes, department meeting recaps, committee meeting summaries, business owner, post-sales call follow-ups, client meeting action items. And then you can even build this for doctor appointment notes. Like, we've got moms in our mastermind that are doing this to build their own nutritionist, their own doctor appointment list. So here's the old way, we've talked about this. You leave a meeting, you're scrambling to remember all the details. You remember some, you took some notes, you got handwritten notes. You draft a follow-up email. All of that took you 30 to 45 minutes. Depending how intense that meeting was, if it was like a quarterly planning meeting, that could take you half a day or all day. AI Architect way, we're gonna paste that meeting transcript into your AI executive assistant, and in 60 seconds, you're gonna have the meeting snapshot, the key takeaways ranked by importance, the action items with owners and deadlines, and a follow-up email drafted. And it literally takes 60 seconds. And then even in there, you can say, what was Susan saying to Fred in the meeting? I forgot, but it seemed important. And it will remember all of this, and it can draft you even a response to Susan about Fred. Okay, so now we're gonna open projects. I'm gonna close these tabs real quickly. So for Claude, if you have not, let me zoom out. If you have not done Claude before, can you see this left-hand corner over here? We're gonna go under chats, we're gonna go to projects. This is how you create a new project, which I'm calling an AI employee. You open that, and you are going to come up into this corner and hit new project. Name the project AI Executive Assistant, create. It is that simple. So this is what most projects, Gemini Gems, ChatGPT, GPTs, it's a mouthful, and then the Claude projects, they all work the same. All of these are gonna have the chatbot or box. They're all going to have memory, which it develops over time as you use it. You've got your instructions. This is the most important part. This is the brain. This is where you give it its marching orders and the specific steps in the output. And then you're gonna add files. So we're gonna start with files on this example. I had Claude create for an AI executive assistant some just fake documents for me to load. It told me I need an email signature. I've got meeting notes template. This is going to be the outline, the way I want meeting notes organized. And you can make all of this up yourself, but this is just so you guys can see strategic notes, next meetings, sample follow-up emails. So you could take your favorite emails that you have communicated with other people, and there might be different ones. It could be, you know, for a business owner, you're gonna have a proposal follow-up email is different than a discovery call. So you can have all these different types that you're gonna load into your knowledge base. So that goes here, and you can connect it to your Google Drive, which is fantastic. So if you already have all of these files in your Google Drive, you can just connect it right there. You can upload the file from your device or add custom text. One note about adding custom text, if you're just copying and pasting it here, you cannot go back and edit this. So if you had like SOPs, if you imagine your own executive assistant sitting next to you and you think about everything that they need, all the documents, all the processes, they're gonna have a lot of SOPs. If you put them in here and then something changes, you have to delete this file and re-upload it. So that's where sometimes it's nice just to have the file drop there. So I did this already for us. Let's see, is that this one? So as you can see, this is my executive assistant. I loaded the meeting notes here, the sample follow-up, I'm zoomed in, sample follow-up emails, it's got all this data here, and my email signature. Always start with the knowledge base before you get on the instructions. Am I going too fast? Do you guys have any questions about just this part? All of it's gonna be available. So yeah, so if you're like, where did she click that button? I'll share it with you after. So add your files, all the context to your files first, because it's going to help draft your custom instructions. And then talking about how do we talk to AI? How do we build a prompt, a proper prompt? Here's a prompt. You're a prompt engineer who specializes in building instructions for Claude. I need custom instructions for an AI executive assistant. Every meeting, call, or conversation, I'll paste a transcript of my raw notes. You can literally just take a picture of your notes and load them in. I need a 3 to 4 sentence meeting snapshot, who, what, vibe, key takeaways, action items as a checklist with owners and deadlines, a follow-up email, et cetera, et cetera. This can be anything you want it to be. So you're gonna copy those instructions, and then you're going to go into the chatbot here. This already has it, because I created it. Let's see, this is the one I created that doesn't have it. But here, you'll load your custom instructions in the assistant, and you're gonna let it run. And it will create the instructions, which, as you can see, I've already done, and it has them here. So again, it's telling it, you are Gabriel Gout, strategic post-meeting analyst. all the context, what you produce, meeting snapshots. Guys, this is limitless. You can have it do so much more than just meeting follow-ups. Task owner deadline, follow-up email draft. You can see how intense this is. If you were trying to write these instructions yourself, do you think it would look anything like this? Do you think you would think about all these specific details? I know I don't, and that's why when I'm doing these prompts, I so often say, you're the expert, you tell me, what am I not thinking of? What have I forgotten? Like, read between the lines and make everything that I'm telling you to do even better. Okay, so now you can see here, it's creating the instructions, it's asking me questions, it's going through the process. For the sake of time, we're not gonna do that right now. I loaded the custom instructions in here and I hit save. So now what's next? This is where people stop. And this is where the real skill set begins, is the iteration process. So you've got instructions, you've got knowledge base, but maybe the output isn't actually what you want. For the sake of this, I had it create a fake meeting transcript. So in this, it's a sales discovery call for a business. So I copied and pasted that transcript, and I ran it here. So now that I've got instructions, I've got this, I'm running it, and I'm going to say, create a follow-up meeting email. So I'm gonna run that, and we don't have to wait for that to complete, but this is where we're going to check the output to see if it's actually what you want. Meeting snapshot, attendees, Gabrielle, 25 minutes. Rachel is leaving money on the table every week. The margins don't match the revenue. Hers is like, this is great, this is formatted. I mean, 10 seconds and we're done. So what I'd say is like, you know, okay, it's doing the follow-up email draft. Hi, Rachel, I walked away from our call today thinking about that stat you shared. I don't know if I like this. So I'm gonna take this email. Let's see, how could we make this better? I'm now going to start iterating and showing you what this looks like to iterate. So what you wanna do is have 2 tabs open. You want one that you're constantly improving the instructions, and one where you're asking it to give you output, and you're taking that output and posting it back in custom instructions. So you have 2 open. And this is where I know it kind of gets tricky sometimes, but you'll have 2 open. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to say, this is the output I asked for. Of course, I would use my, my audio notes normally. In fact, let's do that. Okay, I'm gonna use Whisperflow. Hey Claude, I want to update my custom instructions. I asked for an email follow-up based on the sales call. You can use your memory because I just did it in this thread. And I wanna update the tone. I don't like em dashes. Make sure that you add in the custom instructions to never use an em dash, which is this little thing for those of you who don't know what that is. I want it to feel a bit warmer, but also this wax is a little long. Can you shorten it and use bullet points on the most important pieces that we need? So again, you're just talking to it. This does not have to be formal. So we're gonna run that. And now, so we've got 2. We've got this is where it's giving me output, and then this is where it's gonna give me the updated instructions. And so you just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until those instructions are nailing exactly what you want from this. Does that make sense? Is this, we're tracking? Okay. No em dashes, warmer tone, shorter and tighter. I'm just gonna hit skip, skip. I just want it to go. It was asking about word count. Like, it gets really specific. So now, like you're seeing, AI knows how to ask you questions, but it's still good to say, ask me any questions. So let me read the code. Okay, I don't want to take too long on this, but basically you go back and forth, back and forth. Let me open another tab here. And I did get these final custom instructions. So you would take, let's see, it's taking a little bit longer than I want. But you would take those, you would select all, you delete, you load your new custom instructions. After you've loaded your new custom instructions, you go back in to this thread. You say, with your new instructions, please rewrite the follow-up email. And then it will give you output. And then you'll read that email and you'll read the meeting cadence and the notes and you'll say, actually, I don't like that. So you're gonna copy that. You're gonna go back into this thread on the instructions and you just keep going back and forth. For the sake of time, I'm not gonna do all of that because that could take it. Honestly, sometimes you might spend 3 hours building your AI employee, but then it's gonna save you hundreds of hours later. So this is where it is really worth investing in the tool and investing time. And even I get frustrated sometimes, I'm like, oh, I've been working on this for like hours and it still isn't perfect and it's still not totally doing what I want. That's normal and that is okay. Keep at it because once you nail it, then it's done. So this is taking a little bit of time and we're gonna move on. But that is just one employee. So this is what this is an employee, basically. This is different from an agent, but this is an employee, and you can build hundreds of these for yourself or for your business or for your team. One caveat I will say with Claude, you cannot share this project with anybody outside of your organization. You have to have a team plan and they have to be on the same email. With chat, again, I don't love ChatGPT as much, but you can create public-facing GPTs. So professors, you could create a GPT with all of your content. It's the same thing, all your files, all the study guides, everything, and you can make it public-facing to share with your students to be a study buddy for them, because that can be public-facing. And it's the same setup as you see here. There's the custom instructions, there's the knowledge base. So those are the two differences. Again, I, for business, love Claude, but if you want to share it, business owners, I mean, you could create GPTs that you're sharing with clients. It's like limitless, it's crazy. I don't think it finished yet. Oh, look, it got really fancy. It created a whole, which is not what I wanted. I want them in markdown format, but that's okay. All right, let's move forward. So, that was the first prompt. We went back and forth, and then here are my more robust custom instructions. See how they're a little bit longer, a little bit more specific. We've got the tone and style, we've got some more rules. This is actually pretty short. Didn't want to give you, 3 pages, but those are the final. I think we ran through all of this. So the biggest thing, the back and forth, is the skill. That's what you need to know, is be patient and work with it, and you will get what you're looking for. So I was like, what other ideas? We've got a lot of ideas, but like to get your juices flowing with this, now that you know how to do this. For students, you could do an AI study buddy. You upload class notes, textbook chapters, lecture slides, and you ask it to quiz you. Or you just use Notebook LM because, for students, that's secure. You can do a job search accelerator. You paste a job posting, it rewrites your resume to match. If you know how you want your resume to be, you load that in the knowledge base. You want it that way every single time. It drafts tailored cover letters, it researches the company, and it generates interview prep questions. So instead of going into a new chat page, just like where you're asking it questions, not a project, can you imagine how much different this would be than just going in a chat and trying to say, like, I need to update my resume for this company, and it's like you have to go back and forth, and it doesn't have all the context. For faculty, curriculum design assistant, I've got ideas in here. It upload your current syllabus, your learning objectives, any accreditation requirements, tell your constraints, class size, why this matters, the heavy lifting of all that thinking, organizing, sequencing, and AI can do it all for you. Recommendation letter drafter. Businesses, this is one of my favorites, sales call reviewer. So in business, we'd have 5 salespeople. They're on calls all day long. And our sales manager, there's no way they can listen to all those sales calls. There's no way. Hours and hours and hours. So now we can say, build out a GPT where we can load their sales transcripts, and it will review on a scale of 1 to 10 and ranking how that call went based on how long the salesperson was talking versus the client that they were talking to. You can, as detailed as you want. Did they ask questions? Where did they dig into the pain point? Did they really understand the prospect's needs? So again, it is unlimited. Website copywriter, AI employee, writes your entire website copy in your brand voice. You feed it your brand framework, competitive analysis, testimonials, and a description of your ideal customer. And then it builds you a website that converts because it understands all of that context. And then for me, AI tax expert, like everybody has to do their taxes, right? Like you can put in all your receipts, everything in context, and give it your W-2s, your 1099s. Brilliant. I'm working on my taxes right now, so that one's pretty important. Meal planning is a fun one. This is something probably all of us, like you take your favorite recipes. You can download the PDF of your favorite recipe books that you've bought and paid for. You can tell it your dietary restrictions. Give it custom instructions of like, I want to eat 120 grams of protein a day. I avoid sugars, but sometimes honey. Like, give it everything. Just brain dump it. And now you have your own personal meal planner. Do you know with that, once that's built, you can take a picture of your refrigerator with what you have in your fridge and your pantry and load it and say, these are the items I have. So now, build me a meal plan for the week. I'm going to Costco and Publix. Tell me exactly what to buy for all the meals based on what I currently have. So on the paid LLMs, Claude, they say that they do not share that information. It's not used for learning. So maybe because I have a lot of trust in AI, I have not had a breach where it's sharing any of my personal information on the paid. I wouldn't do it on the free version. I think that would be.
So like all the things that have come out recently, especially them hitting ChatGPT hard.
Yes.
Even with paid, they're saying don't upload anything that's not, it doesn't need to be seen by others.
Yeah.
So is it the same with the others, or?
The same with other GPTs or just.
So Claude and Gemini, even if they're paid, are they still potentially open to public dissemination?
I don't know that answer, honestly. Like, I'm not behind the curtain on these things. I've done research on it, and from everything I've read and been told is like that paid version, they're not using it to iterate the LLM. So it should remain somewhat like secure. And this is a personal decision. Like, how much do you trust AI? How much are you willing to share? I'm from the belief, I think that probably most information on me is probably out there already. I don't feel like there's a whole lot that isn't already being shared, honestly. And that was a hump I had to get over when I started using AI, because it was like, oh, now I'm feeding the beast. It's going to take over, and robots are going to rule the world. Like, so I don't know. But that goes back to the notebook LLM. That for sure is never used. So you could maybe try it there. I feel like that's more for academics, but you give that a shot. But great question. Podcast book summarizer. So people who really like to learn, you can take all the transcripts from your favorite podcaster and load them into a GPT or LLM and have it teach you based on that podcaster. So time's running short. I want to show you, just so you know what's possible about where AI is going. This is not something you can build tonight like the AI employee, but the next step is automation. So this is something where an AI employee is actually living inside your tools, and it can take automated steps upon triggers. For example, had Kemet build me a Jarvis, and this is my own executive assistant that lives in my Slack. I can say, @Jarvis, tag it, @Jarvis, can you check my Google Calendar for the meeting I have coming up in an hour, look at their email, find out what company they're from, do deep research, and then based on your knowledge of the Gal group, tell me like what we think we can help them with based on their pain points from your market research. So I did a really short example here. I'm going to show you. I can't zoom in, so you may not be able to see this. Jarvis, please review my email for all conversations with Joel and tell me what next steps are. And then, I don't know if you can see this output. Right then, here's your conversation. So this is meetings that we're having with the client right now. How cool is that? Like one prompt, and it went through all of my Gmail and my Google. I'm going to show you what this looks like on the back end, again, just so you know it's possible. You don't have to know how to build it. You have to know it exists and it can be built. And then you can hire people to do this. So for example, this is an automation workflow in N8N. Looks like a lot of tiny boxes. Also feels a lot overwhelming. It overwhelmed me the first time I saw it. All of these little triggers make decisions. And then I'm going to zoom in and show you this. Well, let me ask, how many of you guys have heard of AI agents? Probably everybody in the room has heard of an agent. The difference between an AI employee is you go into your project and you're prompting it and you're telling it, write me an email, do a sales call review, be my study buddy. An agent reacts to different triggers that you set up for it, and so it can act autonomously. So for example, we've got my Jarvis connected to Anthropic, so it's got access to Claude. It's connected to my Gmail. It can book calls. It's connected to Notion. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Notion, Zoom, Slack, Research, and Calendar. So I went in and I asked it a question, but it could also be prompted with a trigger of when a sales call is finished in Zoom, it has a trigger and it pulls that transcript on its own, and then it runs all the next steps for you, all the meeting notes. It could build out your project task list in your PM dashboard for business owners, and it's all done for you. So that's where we build these tools for different businesses. But it's pretty mind-blowing because you could have a business of one with all of these tools, and you've got all these things automatically happening for you in the background. And these AI employees, they don't forget, and they don't sleep, and they don't get tired. There is a voice agent I wanted to demo, but I think we're out of time. But I wanted you to see the back end of all those things that you can build out. And when you're on the front end, if you see some of these voice agents or avatars, that's what's behind it that's making it work. It's connected to databases and Gmail. All right, so you've seen this spectrum. Level 1, we use ChatGPT for a quick question. We use it like Google. Level 2, you're actually building AI employees. Level 3 is that automation. And that's where you really can connect all your tools to work for you. So what might have just happened, your brain might be exploding a little bit. You might be excited. You might feel a little nervous and think other people are doing this and I don't know how to do it. All of that is okay. You just need to know it's possible and start learning now. Also, there's a psychological thing that happens with this overwhelm we talked about where your brain tries to talk you out of it. You're too busy to start. I went through this. I'm telling you this because I am full-time in AI, and this was my experience, was like, I know I should be doing it, but like, I don't know where to start. And I had a coach who was like, just use it 30 minutes every day. Use it 30 minutes. And it took me a while still. So I'm telling you now, lean into that feeling and just start. Use all these examples I gave you to begin using it. This is not a you problem, it's a human problem because we're wired to stay the same. So the skills you must learn now, I'm writing them here. We taught you prompting, how to get good output, how to talk to AI, the difference between different tools that you can use, and there are thousands, but the main ones, how to build an AI employee, and then how to connect the existing tools. I don't have time to do Jevons paradox, but very quickly, everybody thought when engines became more efficient with coal, that coal usage would go down. And the opposite happened. Coal usage exploded. So again, back to the what's happening with AI? Is it gonna take my job? As efficiency increases, total demand increases too. We're seeing total usage is increasing. How does this apply to AI? People think that because AI makes thinking tasks faster and cheaper, society will need less human work. I believe the opposite is going to happen. I think with what we're talking about here, more creativity is going to happen, more expansion. We're gonna solve more problems. We're gonna start more businesses. This is the hope. This is the good side of this. So, this is just two stats. Between 1970 and 2019, the US lost 7.5 million manufacturing jobs. There are some businesses that might go out of business, but they added 60 million total jobs overall. The phone book kind of died, but other businesses exploded. Okay, so I'm out of time. I'm going to wrap up. I just hope that you guys feel really encouraged about the future and what's possible. AI is not going to take your job if you learn these skills, because you will be the most hireable person in the room, or you may just go start your own business because you can now. And as an example, We have MarTechs. I am not a marketing tech person. I don't connect tools. I've never created a QR code in my life. 40 minutes yesterday, I created a QR code that goes to a landing page that captures your email, that sends an automatic email response. I've never done that in my life. So again, the possibilities for you guys, just use AI, and hope you guys feel really encouraged. I will send this out for those of you that opt in. I'll send this out later this evening for you guys. I think that's it. Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Okay, just for time's sake, we are going to go ahead and dismiss, but if you have any questions, Gabrielle has a few minutes, so you're welcome to come up and talk to her personally. Other than that, thank you so much for coming.
I did go off. There's no clock.